I've really been pondering the amazement that lies in the fact that we can do one thing a million different ways, endless possibilities of how we can do one thing. And that really calls to mind and center how we must focus on the approach, not the end goal. Because if we're focusing on simply the end goal, we're taking away our unique approach to that goal. Here we flow. Welcome back, fam. Welcome, welcome. Thank you for being here. Shayna here, reporting live. What I'm really birthing in this chat is how nothing done from fear is sustainable. There are so many ways to accomplish something. And as a conscious experiencer, it's so important to tap into the way in which that accomplishment would best serve your highest path forward. If we want to, kick a bad habit, we can't kick the habit by shaming ourselves into quitting or by scaring ourselves out of doing something. That may work temporarily, though in the long run, we have to do something with pure intention, with a lightness to it in order for it to really ground in and really be present in our lives. This is an inescapable aspect of reflection because just because many times we can get fooled into believing just because we accomplish something means that we received the wisdom, we did what we needed to do, and it's not always the case. That can be really disheartening, but it's very, very educational. As funny of a word to use. The reason why is because it can show us that there is a shallow side to this life experience, especially when we overly focus on 3D and what we can achieve and our identities and stuff as, something that can be shown off. It can't always be shown off. Our biggest milestones are many a times the ones that are unseen and unspoken. By shifting our gauge into deep presence, we're able to recognize the power that goes into any achievement, any accomplishment. And it's so much more than just simply checking a box or being able to say we did something or have something to show for it. It's the whole approach that's really dictating the way that is impressing itself into our lives. So our goals that we have, every time we call them to mind, every time we look at them written down, we have to be able to tap into the abundance that this is expressing to us. We don't simply want that business plan to be successful. We want so much more than that. Our heart desires are in there. Our soul desires are in there. And those can't be boxed in. It's truly a superpower that we have to be able to see things from a limited perspective because it allows us to actualize them in this world. It allows us to have a kind of guiding point that can help us to train our energy to move in certain directions. But in that training, it has to be of love. It has to be of pure intention and trust. Many times we don't trust that things are going to happen unless we do X, Y, and Z. That's that overt pressure that we put on ourselves, that immense heaviness that we feel like is necessary in order to accomplish anything worthwhile, and it's not necessarily the case. Of course, there's always this struggle and this questioning, but overall, there is a lightness to all of it because we're always conscious. We're always knowing of the moving of the moment, the shifting, the continuation. And so realizing that, bringing that into living reality, it can open us up to always being in contentment, always being at peace, because we know that whatever we accomplish is going to play out in tenfold as what we can imagine. And being open and receptive to that is the only way to move with it. There's no other choice in that, or we're going to be creating resistance. And it doesn't mean to disregard our fear, our scaredness, our unease, and such. All we're trying to remember is that we don't want to create from those places. We have to feel our feels, but we don't have to use them as tools for creation. That's where we can get lost in the sauce because they become comfortable to us, and inherently we begin creating from the places that gift us comfort. It's very easy to make change happen when we have this fear because it really pushes us, it puts everything on the line. So we feel like it's all or nothing, we don't really have a choice, and we begin making decisions from those points of fear. But in the long run, they're not sustainable choices or lifestyle shifts because inevitably we become curious of why this fear is still lingering in our lives, and we find out that it's the root of a decision that we've made. And the only way to uproot that is to completely rewrite the belief system and the understanding we have in a certain capacity in our life, and to give certain things new meaning. That's a powerful point too, because as we grow, we have to redefine things. It's not something we just do once again. It's something that we're continually paying attention to and rewiring, redefining, realigning, readjusting, reordering. And that's the beauty in this journey, is we have the opportunity in the space to do that, and it's really necessary in order to continually create more, bigger, expansively. And we're doing it in a dance, so we're constantly being guided in what direction to go, and finding that practice is eye-opening. We don't have to do things that scare us. We don't have to be uncomfortable. But when we are, we have to be willing to surrender into that and to embrace it. So that wraps up our flow today, my loved ones. Remember why you're doing something and ask yourself why you're doing something. And when you have these desires, maybe always take a moment to ask what the true root of that desire is. And in that clarity, move with the river, move with the flow, let it take us where we need to go. And I'm going to stop doing things out of fear because, it works for a little bit. I can quit something, or I can, get rid of a bad habit. But as soon as that, kind of adrenaline and excitement has been completely revved out, I'm back at square one, kind of investigating and trying to understand the purpose of something in my life. And that has enabled me to truly make deep rooted change and foundational shifts that open me up to a fuller version of who I am, who I'm becoming, who I'm meant to be, all these things. All right, my loves. I'm finally caught up on personalized stories, which has been a blessing to connect with you guys in that way. So if you're watching this and you're interested in one, check out the link in my bio. And as always, let's chat in the comments. I hope you are amazing, wonderful, getting ready for eclipse season. And I will see you on the next ones, love.